All right, so we're going to solve this equation here. The first thing we're going to do is factor the bottoms, the denominators, and see what we're working with. So we have 2 times 2z plus 1 over, so here, this factored out, I know it's going to be z, and then negative 3 times positive 1 gives me negative 3, and negative 3 plus 1 gives me negative 2. So this is the same thing as this, minus 2z plus 1 over, and I can factor out a 2 here, so factoring out a 2, I'd get z minus 3, and then plus, so 3z minus 1 over, and I can factor out a 3, giving me 1 plus z. I want to make a note. Z minus 3 cannot equal 0, because if z minus 3 is 0, that means I'm dividing by 0, and that's not allowed. And z plus 1 cannot be 0, right? And notice I have that z minus 3 here and that z plus 1 here as well. So I know that z cannot be equal to 3 and z cannot be equal to negative 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue this. I'm going to try to find a common denominator. So I'm going to have this 2 times 2z plus 1 over z minus 3 times z plus 1. And then I have my, let's see, 2 and 3, so it'll be 6 over 6, minus, so let's do 2z plus 1 over 2 times z minus 3, and then that's going to be times 3 times z plus 1, 3 times z plus 1, and then plus 3z minus 1 over 3 times z plus 1. I'm just going to rearrange that, right? And then times, so let's see, I would need a 2 times z minus 3, 2 times z minus 3, and that's equal to 0. All right, so here 2 times 6 is 12, so I'm going to have 12 times 2z plus 1 over 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1 minus, so I'm going to have here the 2, I guess here 3, right? 3 times 2z plus 1 times z plus 1 over the same thing, 6 times z minus 3, z plus 1, and then plus, so in this case I'm going to have 2 times 3z minus 1 times z minus 3 all over 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1 equals 0. So now I have a common denominator, so I'm just going to put that all over it. So, and I'll distribute this. So 12 times 2z is 24z plus 12 minus, so since this is a little more complicated, I'll do 3, and then 2z times z is 2z squared. 2z times 1 is 2z. 1 times z is z, so that'll be plus 3z, and then plus 1, and then plus 2 times 3z times z is 3z squared, minus, so this will be 9z, and then minus 1z, which is minus 10z. Negative 1 times negative 3 is plus 3, and that's all over 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1, and that's equal to 0. So now let's go ahead and 24z plus 12 minus, so that'll be 6z squared, minus 9z minus 3 plus 6z squared minus 20z plus 6. That's all over the 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1 equals 0. And now let's see, negative 6z squared and 6z squared, that turns to 0. 24z minus 9 is 15z. 15z minus 20z is negative 5z. 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15 over the 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by that denominator. And of course, I'm assuming that z minus 3 and z plus 1 are not 0. That might not be the case, but I'm assuming that so I can do the, I can solve this because remember, you can't multiply or divide by 0. So I'm going to multiply both of these by, let me scoot this a little bit. Okay, so it'll be 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1. And then whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 6 times z minus 3 times z plus 1. And then I'm left with negative 5z plus 15, because these cancel, right? And then equals 0 times anything is 0. I add 5z to both sides to get 15 is equal to 5z. Divide both sides by 5 to get 3 is equal to z. But remember earlier we established that z cannot be 3 because if z is 3 here, then we're dividing by 0. So if the only possible solution to this equation is z is equal to 3, that means there must be no solution because we cannot divide by 0, right? So, but we know that z cannot be equal to 3. So this implies that there is no solution to this equation.